Today, we're interviewing PJ from OnePoint Alliance. He has been a staple in the Platinum Top 50 community, and he has built a business that helps realtors when they have clients that are ready to sell. Join us in just a second. So, PJ, glad to have you here. I know that you have been a big supporter and sponsor of the PT50 for several years now, and I know that we've had a lot of praise from, some of our agents, namely Vivian's one of your top supporters. And I think why this is important for real estate agents is in this market, as things are starting to heat up again. We've always been a big proponent of having sellers present the property in the best possible light. Our job as a real estate agent is to take all the variables that would lead to multiple offer situations. Whether you get them or not, you still want to control the variables so that the home is very marketable. And one of those things is renovating the property, or at least make ready. So tell me exactly, what is it that you do for sellers and real estate agents to accomplish this goal?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And everything you just said is exactly the experience we're having. Really, the name OnePoint is not a misnomer, and it's very deliberate. We have tried to create an environment and a company that is OnePoint for anything to do with fixing the home. So from the conceptualization of design, what to do to the home to get it ready to sell from a design and staging standpoint, all the way to actually staging the home, we have a whole suite of services. And the way we're able to accomplish that is we have our own internal divisions. We have design, we have painting, we project manage, and we do construction. So whether it's a conversion or a new build, but also we have a contractors group, which is where I just came from. And we have 40 members, and these members sign an agreement with us to perform to what we call OnePoint's company standards. And so we do all the work for people to curate this list of contractors who understand what value is. And so by doing that, we now have the resources to, in a very rapid way, conceptualize and complete the home in a way that brings maximum value for the least amount of cost necessary.
Yeah.
And so we try to value engineer every project. So we're not just, for example, painting. We don't just paint everything. Can we just paint the walls? Can we not do the closets? The same thing with countertops or flooring. What is going to bring the greatest amount of change for the least amount of investment so that you all can sell the house as fast as possible?
And so when you have a meeting with a seller that one of our, let's use one of Vivian's clients as an example. Take us through the journey of that, and I'm using a real example of maybe one of the ones you worked with Vivian with.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So there's two different ways to engage. If you know the scope of work, and a lot of agents do, I assign a project manager who comes out and looks at the project and gets the bid together. We typically get a bid together in one business day. And that gives you what we call a range of cost bid. The bid is going to cost approximately. That gives people an idea of what it's going to cost and how to move forward. If someone, a seller, and the agent doesn't have a direction, doesn't know necessarily what should be done, then we send our designer. And she's been trained to look at the home and go, okay, here's what needs to be done to get maximum value. She puts together a design deck that then becomes the basis upon which a project manager bids. So either way, we're creating a scenario where we define a scope of work in order to accomplish this goal. And the whole time we're being transparent with who we're engaging with, the costs, but more importantly, letting the homeowner and the agent have a say in exactly how this scope of work is put together.
Gotcha. And what are the different, low budget to high budget that sellers would tend to spend on a project?
Well, that's an interesting concept. We've done projects for as low as $1,500. We've done projects as high as $150,000.
Yeah.
Every project is different and every home is different. The one thing we're seeing now with the market changing and evolving, like you said, is people are looking for homes that don't have a lot of work to be done. So it just depends on the age of the home. Was the home maintained? What state is the design of the home? Is it current, or is it 2 or 3 iterations ago? So really every house is different. And we don't go in with a predisposed agenda. Right. We just look at what it is and what it should be. And again, we present that visually so that the agent can be the person who really guides the homeowner through this process, partnering with us as OnePoint.
Right. So, and to take me to the history of how you got into this. Where did you start? And
yeah, that's interesting. So I was in college and I started painting to support myself. and I really liked painting. And so I decided at one point to not go to law school. And instead, I started a painting company. That business, I partnered with my brother-in-law. We grew that business to about 100 employees in 4 states. And then the Great Recession started in 2008. We survived to 2010, but we were just hemorrhaging money. So I basically closed the business and picked Texas, picked Austin 14 years ago. So I restarted here, and I had several companies. I had my painting business. I started this construction networking group, and I started doing business development, helping people grow their businesses. And about a year and a half or 2 years ago, I merged them all together and took a page from Facebook with the concept of Meta and just made the name OnePoint. And then I made these divisions of my company. And so now my children work for me. 3 of my 4 kids plus my son-in-law work for me, my nephew. So it's a family-owned business. And it's really an exciting concept because my goal is to create an exceptional customer experience and control the whole process. And so I've been able to do that because of working with people that I'm related to and also building a highly systemized company, not unlike yours.
Right. And then what's the makeup of your company now? How many people do you have?
Internally, we're about 10 W-2, but like I said, with the contractors group, we have 40. We have crews that work for us. So the whole organization is probably nearly 100 again.
Gotcha.
In different iterations and connectivity. But the nice thing is because the contractors group is a division of the company, we can handle things from as little as touch-up painting of 2 walls to building a house from ground up, which we're doing right now in Round Rock. So we can really cover anything because we have all these relationships that we've curated with various contractors around the Metroplex.
And how did you decide that you were going to target the realtor community and that was going to your niche, I suppose it is that you're going to say, okay, I want to be another tool in the tool belt for real estate agents?
Yeah. Well, first of all, my mom's a retired agent. She was a real estate agent for over 30 years. So I have a lot of knowledge that maybe most contractors don't. I've been doing this for 30 years, and so I understand the value of realtors. I understand the connectivity they have. And so really when I started thinking about where do I want to go with my business and who do I want to work with, you recognize that top producing agents and organizations and brokerages like Spyglass, when they have a similar vision of how to provide value to people, it made perfect sense to align ourselves as an organization with them. And so what we built, the premise upon which we've built all this is providing the very thing that most realtors don't have, and that's time. Because the demands that are placed upon you, again, talking to my mom, talking to other agents, they want you to tell them what schools, what restaurants, what paint colors. I can't help with all of those things, but anything to do with construction, how do we take this off your plate so you can do more of what you do as an agent while we handle these things for you while you continue to provide exceptional service for your customers? So that was really how it all began.
Yeah. And do you handle things like, do agents ever do pre-inspections and hand you those?
Yeah. So we come up with lots of different packages for agents. And so, for example, one of your agents that you've already mentioned, Vivian Pleen, she's come up with something that she wanted to give a gift to her listing clients, or probably even her buying ones, where she gives them a value of $400. And so we built services, handyman service, design service, cleaning service, where she picks up the first $400. Other agents want other packages, like they want to pay for the design staging consult. So what we try to do is just provide tools to make it easier for you to provide value and differentiate yourselves as agents from the other 19,999 agents that are in Austin.
Yeah. And what about the results? Do you have any insight on the results of okay, this house was before your crew came in was worth, comps were around 420, but if you put in this much, have you analyzed that at all?
Absolutely. We're getting more and more tangible results as well as quantifiable responses from agents. We just in the last 6 months probably did 4 or 5 projects where they've put in anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000, and they were able to sell the home for at least double the investment. So if they put in 50, they were getting $75,000 or $80,000 back. And more importantly, the timeline was accelerated.
Yeah.
And I think that in the end is really where the homeowner, the agent, even us as contractors, that's really where it's at. It's speed.
Yeah.
And it's not, oh, we put this money in, we sat in the house for 6 months. It's we put this money in, the project took 3 weeks to do, the house sold in 2 weeks. We're on to the next part of our life.
Yeah. And that's a huge deal in this industry because, I mean, we had our weekly huddle meeting this morning. There were, people were saying that, some of the properties they looked at have been on the market for, 6-7 weeks, and the price line, look, I mean, time is your enemy in real estate when you have a home to sell.
Right.
And the longer you have it on the market, the worse, more likely the worse. And then people always say, oh, agents want to sell the home quickly. Well, there's a reason for that, because the longer you have it on the market, the more the perception is that there's something wrong with the home.
Yeah.
And usually there is something wrong with the home. It either has to do with price or presentation.
Right.
So I think it's really important that, sellers and, real estate agents, most of them do know, but sellers need to know this as well, is that, I've said this for a year, price and presentation. And sometimes it's both, right? It's the price and the presentation.
Right.
So what do you think, so we talked about this before, and there are, in certain instances, you would be able to provide pay at close, right? But obviously that's limited by the market. It's limited by interest rates, or things like that, right? And then there are programs that sellers can get into as far as providing financing. I know that I think Frost Bank you can pull a HELOC loan out that allows you to put money into repairs.
Yeah.
Because a lot of HELOC loans don't want to see the home on the market. Or a lot of loans rather don't, a lot of specifically HELOC loans, I believe, don't want you to have the home on the market when you're trying to sell it. But that is an option, right?
It is. And so, again, just like your question with pre-inspections, we're always looking for ways to bring more value, more solutions for you all, because we know that if we partner with you, which we have with Spyglass and other agents, then we want to be a complete resource. And so, as you just alluded to, we are working with and looking for partnerships with financial institutions so they can provide that financing. As an organization, we can sometimes finance things. We currently are, but of course, being subcontractors and contractors, we're limited with our bandwidth financially.
Sure.
But at the same time, we're starting to create relationships where some lending institutions start to see the value of partnering with us because of our connections with organizations like yours. And so we know that that's coming soon, and we're working on that avidly.
Yeah. And I think what people need to realize is that these programs that used to be around, I mean, I think Compass has, cut their concierge program. Last I heard was 15,000, if not completely, gone now. But, I think there are plenty of solutions, such as, the ones that you provide that any real estate agent can use. And we certainly have taken advantage of that. What do you think is next for your company?
Well, honestly, what's next for us as we continue to grow and evolve is to continue to make sure that the customer experience is unparalleled. We just had our contractors group monthly meeting just now. It was 48 contractors in the room. And we are basically now propagating what we're calling OnePoint's company standards. And what that is, and what it's going to be rolled out tomorrow to our clients, is the expectation we've set for ourselves, the expectation we set for our members, the contractors. And therefore, we're telling you as the agent and our homeowners by extension through the agents, this is the standard we're going to hold ourselves to in order to be exceptional. Yeah. So you have that right to expect that from us. So we're implementing a new platform that has AI. We're working with another developer to help make sure that our process is high touch at all times, not just high tech, but how do we communicate statuses and schedules in a manner that an agent wants? Because we understand that in real estate, it's not just 9 to 5. It's not Monday to Friday. It could be 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. So how do we fulfill that need? How do we help people feel like they're being taken care of in a way that's completely different than traditional contracting? And that's what we're currently working on. That's our next evolution.
Yeah. And I can tell you from my own personal experience, when I used to sell homes, we used to, we had an in-house stager, and we would go and we'd actually did the contracting ourselves.
Yeah.
And it was extremely difficult. And the reason we as I got out of production and scaled this company, we for a very short period, we were offering that kind of service to our agents, and it's not scalable from a standpoint of a real estate agent doing it. And by not only that, there's just too many things that go wrong. We have so many things that we need to do. So having a partner that can facilitate that kind of service, I think, is very important. So yeah, where can people find you?
Well, the best way to find us is online. Our website is onepointalliance.com. There's a lot of connectivity through there. There's consultation requests where you can specify what your needs are, what services you're looking for, how to engage with you, whether it's email or text or phone. You can also reach out to me. I'm always available. I work 24 hours a day, or at least I'm connected 24 hours a day. But really, in the end, we're a family-owned business, so we want to treat our agents, their clients, by extension, anybody that engages with us like family. And so our experience and our disappointments in working with contractors and other service businesses is our goal is to not be that and to be different. And by being different, it's just being what we all want. And that is someone who takes care and cares about us.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for being with us today.
And thanks for having me on. We really do value our relationship with Spyglass and you, Ryan, and your team. It's been great.